Welcome to the Little Sparks Podcast, your home for all things faith and music. I'm Cecilia.
And I'm Tara.
And we're former college roommates, professional musicians, and co-founders of the Hildegard Collective, a space for Catholic musicians to connect with one another and grow in their faith and profession. This podcast is an outreach of the collective, so if you're interested at all in Catholicism, music, or both, this is the podcast for you. Join us each week as we get real, share stories, and learn from other awesome Catholic musicians. We're all little sparks of God's divine creation, so together, let's ignite the world for Christ. All right, welcome back to the Little Sparks Podcast. This is our season finale, season 6 finale. I cannot believe that we are already at the end of season 6. It seems like not that long ago that we just started recording this season, and now here we are at the end, which is absolutely wild.
Yeah, it has truly flown by. We were talking earlier today, Cecilia, just about how quickly the season seems to have gone, and we were pretty rigid this season with our posting schedule, so we didn't really have any major delays in uploading episodes or anything. So maybe that's part of the reason it feels like it flew by so fast. But I do feel like it was just yesterday that we were coming up with themes and topics for the episodes this season, and now we're at the finale somehow.
Yeah. And this has been honestly such a fun season to record. I have personally really enjoyed this one. Mm-hmm. It's just been so fun to talk about, all of these different feasts and holidays in particular, with a couple other episodes mixed in. But it's just been, I don't know, it's been a nice change, and I've really enjoyed it. So
yeah, me too, definitely.
Yeah. So we're going to keep things lighthearted for this very last episode. And actually, we are doing a repeat of an episode that was never released because of the absolutely spectacularly awful technology problems Tara had with her computer, just breaking and dying a very slow, painful death last year. And basically, the gist of this episode that we had recorded and were all ready to, go with it, and then the recording was lost forever. The idea was that we were going to kind of do a ranking of our top 5 least favorite Christmas songs and top 5 most favorite Christmas songs, and a little bit about why we love or do not love them. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Let's get the worst out of the way and start with our least favorite Christmas songs. So Tara, do you want to start us off with your 5th least favorite Christmas song out there?
Absolutely. And just as a caveat to what I'm about to say, but also to this whole episode, these lists are certainly not exhaustive. First of all, there are so many terrible Christmas songs. There are also so many great Christmas songs. So I would say these are 5 of my favorite and least favorite, rather than being a very concrete top 5, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I know I'm going to kick things off with a little bit of controversy here, because I know this was one that we talked about last year, Cecilia, that we very much disagreed on.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say.
And so my number 5 on this list, and I feel like many people are going to disagree about this, is God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen.
I'm going to hold my tongue. I'm going to hold my tongue.
I'm going to let it sink in for a moment. And I have to be, for clarity's sake, I don't mind the message of this piece. There are a lot of things about it that I think are fine. What gets me about it is that, especially for congregational singing, it's really not that easy of a piece of music. And so I feel like I always get annoyed and frustrated when I'm either at a carol concert or at mass or something, and this is programmed and everybody has to sing it, because it just sounds so bad. If you don't have people who understand music, not even necessarily how to sing, but just music at a basic level, and can look at these leaps on the page and make sense of the intervals, it is crazy the results that you get from just people sitting in the pews. And that has put me off that song. Absolutely. I think if you can execute it well, that's a big if. If you can execute it well, I don't mind it. It's fine. But I think so rarely is it ever performed like really, really excellently. And I'm just kind of sick of it. Not here for it.
I will have my moment to rebut all of this. Though I will say you do make some good points about like it is difficult to sing from a congregational perspective. And that's, that is fair. That is a fair, valid point. I will have my turn later on in this episode to rebut it. Now you know that it's in my top 5 favorites. Where are my top 5 favorites? You do not know that yet, but it is, yeah. Anyway. Well, mine is probably going to be a little bit controversial as well. But my number 5 is All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people love this one, and I understand because I used to love it. And then it just got so overplayed, and I never want to hear it again, honestly.
It is overplayed. I will give you that for sure. Yeah.
It's just,
Um,
yeah.
it's like one of those that's just completely inescapable.
Yes, completely. And it's also just, I don't know, the more time passes, the more juvenile the song feels to me. Maybe I'm just getting old. I know I'm not actually getting old. I, I feel like I'm turning into like a cantankerous old man sometimes, which obviously I am not and will never. But I don't know. The song, and maybe part of it is because like I have a very distinct memory in 7th grade of like my best friend liked this one kid in our homeschool group. And mind you, there were like 3 guys in our homeschool group. So, slim pickings. And I also had a crush on this boy. And I was so mad because the 2 of them decided to date. It was 7th grade. But like I have a very distinct memory of that song. Like he like used it to like flirt with her at some like big hangout that we were all at. And I was just like so annoyed. And
Oof.
yeah. So, like, I don't know, maybe that also just sours it. Like, there's just this, like, little inkling of 7th grade Cecilia just bitter in a corner. So, I don't know. Maybe that also plays a part in it.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. It's overplayed and I hate it. So, there we go. That's my number 5.
Okay. Sure. Sure, sure, sure. Well, moving on to number 4. In my number 4 place is Little Drummer Boy.
Okay, fair.
It's just so annoying. It is an annoying piece of music. And I know there have been like a lot of jokes and memes about this, but actually on a serious note, the message really doesn't make a lot of sense. Like at all. If you actually think about what the narrator of the piece is saying, he's like, here is this fresh human baby, hours old. I don't have anything to give him because I'm poor. So I'm going to take my percussion instrument and bang around in front of this sleeping child and his freshly postpartum mother. I just, I understand that perhaps, I'm assuming the narrator, because of the title of the song, is meant to be a child. So I can understand that perhaps this child's heart is in the right place, wanting to do something nice for Mary and baby Jesus. But where are his parents to say, honey, no, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that at any time of year, day or night. You can put your drum back where it belongs, but especially not when you've like literally just given birth to a child. I just, the messaging really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I do feel, even if you come from a place of poverty, you certainly have things more precious and valuable to give than a drum solo.
No,
I,
that's fair.
yeah, just the messaging, not there for me. And then also on top of that, it's just really annoying. It's just a really annoying song.
No, that's fair. It was like on the other day in our house because it came through on a playlist. And I will say, for the first time in maybe my entire life, I found myself going, "Oh, that's really sweet" at the very end of it because of the line, "And then he smiled at me, parum pum pum, me and my drum." And like I just had this like little image of like little baby Jesus just smiling up, and it was really precious.
Yeah,
But that was probably the only time I've ever heard that song and smiled.
that's fair. But I
So
also, though, like just I do not have children myself, but I feel from my experience with my siblings, my cousins and friends' babies and stuff of children that young, that again, if you were to go start banging on a drum right next to them, they probably wouldn't smile at you. They probably
yeah.
would start screaming because they're like, what the heck is going on? They think there's a war happening around them. Like,
Yeah.
I just,
Poor baby Jesus.
yeah, I don't know. I am not buying the then he smiled at me line. Did he? Or like, is this a hallucination? I don't see it. But
That's fair.
I understand how the mental image of sweet baby Jesus smiling up at you would be very cute. I
Is
just
very
don't
cute.
think it's likely
It's
to
probably not
happen in
realistic.
this
Yeah.
context.
Probably not realistic at all.
Yeah.
Well, my number 4 is Jingle Bell Rock. And I will keep it short and snazzy with this one. Basically, when I was in ninth grade, I went on a pilgrimage to Rome over Christmas with my church choir, and we get to our hotel in Italy. Mind you, we are all immensely jet lagged. Walk into the lobby, and guess what's playing? Not some, beautiful Italian music, but Jingle Bell Rock. And I just remember one of the choir members being like, "We came all the way from America only to walk into this Italian hotel and hear Jingle Bell Rock." And I since then it like that, I mean, I never was the biggest fan of Jingle Bell Rock to begin with, but after that I was like, yeah, this has completely tarnished it for me, and every time I hear it I just have this memory of walking into a hotel in Italy, hearing Jingle Bell Rock, hearing what my fellow choir member had to say, and just being like, yeah, no, this sucks.
That's so funny. I guess that's fair. Like that's your personal experience with the song. I don't mind it. I think it's just kind of fun. Um, but I also don't have any negative associations with it. So,
So what's your number 3?
yes. So, my number 3 is Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Do you know that one?
Yes.
I cannot stand it.
Fair.
Um, it's the NSYNC version of this song. I
Okay.
actually don't know if there are other versions, but um I find it so like beyond oppressively annoying. This piece of music, it like I will walk out of a room if this song is playing. I
So fun.
hate it. And I don't really have a concrete reason other than I find it so totally annoying. It's such an earworm. It's so repetitive. It's so unoriginal. Everything about it, the lyrics, the melody, boring, snooze fest, but it's gets stuck in your head and in like the worst way. I absolutely want to crawl out of my skin every single time this song enters my mind. I think I heard it for the first time. I think, at least the first conscious memory of hearing the song was like when I was in high school. We had like a bunch of family photos done for Christmas cards one year, and it was like my immediate family, but then also all my cousins and their families. And the photographer, I don't know what sort of package we got, but the photographer put together like a video compilation of like all of our photos. And I think it was supposed to be a gift to my grandparents that year for Christmas, this video. And the photos are unbelievably beautiful. They're actually gorgeous. The photographer is incredible. But she put this song in the background. And I remember just immediately being like, what is this? You have tarnished everything about our gorgeous family photo shoot with this ridiculous song. Oh, I hate it.
That's so funny.
I hate it. I cannot express enough. I hate that song.
That is so funny. I can see why you would hate it because of that. Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, that's maybe more of a personal one for me, but whew, I hate that song.
Yeah. Well, that's like me with Jingle Bell Rock, so there you go.
Yeah. What's your number 3?
I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. I know it's supposed to be tongue in cheek, like Santa Claus is actually daddy all dressed up as Santa Claus, but like, think of it from the perspective of like a 3 or 4-year-old. If you like sneak down the stairs, you're going to think that your mother is cheating on your father with Santa Claus, and that's just creepy in all kinds of ways.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of ways. So, yeah, I just really can't stand that. Every time I hear it in the store, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I actually very much agree with that. And that's actually kind of the perfect segue into my number 2, which is Santa Baby for basically the same reason. And I also just think, okay, there are certain things in life that just simply should not be sexualized, full stop. And one of them is Santa Claus.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
So Santa Baby's actually also my number 2, so we can just talk about this collectively.
Okay, great. Let's go.
How would Saint Nicholas feel? Saint Nicholas who rescued.
I was just gonna say this.
Feel about being sexualized in this song. Like, come freaking on.
I know, because I know there are people who will sit there and say, yeah, but Santa Claus is fake. He's not real. He's a character for children. So, like,
no,
it doesn't matter. But
Saint
the thing
Nicholas.
is, he is actually based on a real person who lived and breathed and walked the earth and is probably absolutely rolling over in his grave at these songs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, and it's so weird. And okay, even that point aside, going back to Santa Claus being just a character, even if that is the case, then we can certainly all agree that he is a character for children. So
exactly.
You're still sexualizing
it.
Something for children, and that is still weird.
So gross. It's not even weird. It's gross. Like, why are we doing this?
It's embarrassing for for our human collective.
And it honestly says a lot about, I think, our culture at large and how over-sexualized everything is. But that's a topic for another day. I love how at the beginning of this episode, we were like, this is going to be such a lighthearted episode. And now we're like, why is Santa Claus being sexualized?
Well, it's a valid question. Actually, it is a valid question.
Sexualized.
Why have we all just accepted this?
Yeah, this song is not on my top 5 because I didn't think of it until now, and I have one at my number 1 that I want to like gripe about. But like we were driving home from Thanksgiving and listening to a Christmas playlist, and a song by Elvis came on, and I can't remember what the title was or anything, but basically I'm listening to the lyrics, and I'm like, I'm not very good at picking up on lyrics, but like some bits and pieces were coming through to me, and I was like, I turned to my husband, I was like, John, is this basically like Elvis being like, I'm a sexy Santa Claus? And he was like, yes. And I was like, why? Why? Just why? The whole genre of sexual Santa Claus songs should be like burned at the stake. All of them.
Burn them. Get rid of them.
I know the whole like Saint Nicholas punching the heretic like story is just a legend and probably didn't happen because historians have compared dates and stuff like that. However, I firmly maintain that if Saint Nicholas were alive today, he would be punching those who create sexualized Santa Claus songs.
I agree. Yep.
On that note, what's your number 1?
All right, here we go. I don't know if everyone's going to know this song actually, because I didn't know until I moved to Ireland. It's very big in Ireland.
I remember this from last year.
Yes, and it is the song Fairy Tale of New York. Horrific. Horrible. First of all, it is just generally a very offensive song. There have been numerous controversies throughout the existence of this song about the offensive lyrics.
Oh my gosh.
And
Seriously.
then, yeah, and then it also just sucks as a song. It's not enjoyable to listen to. I can understand how there are points of the song where they try to make it sound kind of festive and upbeat. It just sucks. It's a miserable song. The lyrics are not only controversial, but they're just a bit upsetting to listen to. They're really depressing.
Yeah.
And it is so not in the spirit of Christmas
That's annoying.
in my view. And it's huge here. It plays every year. It's all over the radio and TV. Everybody's walking around singing it. And I'm like, why? Like, there are so many fantastic Christmas songs you could be singing. Why do we keep coming back to this? I don't understand the appeal literally at all. And like, it's Christmas. Why do you want to sing something that is like widely offensive?
Yeah.
And
That's annoying.
I
That's
do think there's commentary to be had here about the broader Irish culture that I'm not going to get into right now.
fair
But
enough.
but I think that will forever and always be my most hated Christmas song. I
No,
hate
that's
it.
totally fair. Totally fair. Well, on that note, my number one least favorite is I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. Why? Just why do we want a hippopotamus for Christmas? I just think it's the most inane song. I really do.
But then what about All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth? I mean, what's more
Oh,
inane?
that almost made it onto the list, believe me. Like
Uh,
all of those like general songs. I feel like there's like a bubblegum Christmas song too that's out there that
oh, maybe.
why? Why? I feel like in the 1950s and 60s, I was saying this to you before we recorded, but in the 1950s and 60s, I feel like people were like, let's make a bunch more Christmas songs, and maybe the 40s too. I don't know. And like some of them are absolute bangers. And some of them are just like, who came up with this and why? So,
I I like that song. And also, I understand why you could like hear the lyrics of that song and be like, that's super weird and random and doesn't make any sense. But I raise you Moo Dang.
as in the little
The pygmy hippo.
pygmy,
I
yeah, yeah,
I actively would like a hippopotamus for Christmas. Actually, yes,
because you
please.
want to
I want Moo Dang.
sing.
I love her.
I
She's
totally forgot about Moodang.
she is the background. I'll hold this up to the camera on me and my husband's like reel page where we send each other reels. She's the background, Moo Dang back there. You can kind of see it on
Oh
camera.
yeah, I can kind of see it. That is actually so funny. That is actually
I
so
am a I am a Moo Dang stan, and I would like to receive her for Christmas. So I'm going to disagree. Have to agree to disagree with you on that one.
well, we already agree to disagree on God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. And on that note, shall we go to our top 5 favorite Christmas songs?
We shall. Would you like to kick us off with this one, Cecilia? What's your number 5?
Okay, so number 5 for me is, I guess it's more generically winter than Christmas, but it's always played at Christmas, and that is Sleigh Ride. I was a band kid, and we played Sleigh Ride like every year in high school band. And it was so much fun. I loved it so much. It was so good. And I just, every time I listen to it, it's just so nostalgic for me. The other night, we went down to our like town's Christmas festival, and there was a parade, and there was a marching band playing Sleigh Ride. And I was just like, I love this so much. It's just such a nostalgic song for me. So I just love Sleigh Ride. It's so good.
That's very sweet. I love that.
Yeah, it's a good one. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is White Christmas.
Mm.
And kind of similarly, I just feel like the song is very nostalgic for me. I feel like I have so many memories of like driving home in like in and around Christmas time as a kid and like being half asleep in the back seat and hearing that song on the radio and just being like, wow, this time of year is magical, and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
feeling
yeah.
really like warm and fuzzy inside. And it's such a beautiful song that I think complements a lot of different voices really well.
Yes,
So
for sure.
I feel like I haven't heard too many like awful versions of White Christmas, which is
Yeah,
nice.
it's hard to mess up White Christmas. So my number four actually is also White Christmas, pretty much for the same reasons
Oh,
that
great.
you mentioned for it being your number five. And it's just, yeah, just such a beautiful song. I recently discovered that it is like the most best-selling song of all time, which is really cool.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, I was looking on like Wikipedia or something and said that. So I mean, granted it is Wikipedia, but sometimes Wikipedia is like pretty spot on. So, you know. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. And I think it says a lot about the human heart, actually. Just like, you know, what we really want. We want home and we want, you know, beautiful, just beautiful simplicity. And, you know, I mean, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And like I remember being a kid and actually like praying for a White Christmas every year.
Same. I still do, and I live in South Florida. I mean, like, obviously it's not happening down here, but like, we're going up to Pennsylvania for Christmas, and I am so hoping that it's going to be a white Christmas. There's actually a chance of it being a white Christmas this year. And I would just love that. And I would love to be able to take, like, you know, Lucy sledding and stuff because she doesn't get to do that down here. And I don't know, just a white Christmas is just so, yeah,
There's something
yeah,
so like beautiful and pure about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So, what's your number four?
My number 4 is It Came Upon a Midnight Clear.
Oh, beautiful song.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I feel like it is often overlooked sometimes in Christmas programming. I just feel like it gets forgotten about sometimes. But I just think the melody of it is so beautiful. And for me, it evokes such strong imagery of the Nativity
Yeah,
and of the angels coming to announce the birth of Christ, the shepherds, and what that moment would have been like. um it's just, it like really brings it to life for me, and I just think it's such a gorgeous piece in general. I just really love it every time I hear it, because sometimes I forget about it too, to be honest, but then every time I hear it again I'm like, oh, I love this piece, this is great, we should do this more often, this is lovely.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
That one was one of my favorites growing up and almost made it onto this list. Like, you know, how we were saying at the beginning, like, you know, this is not comprehensive at all in terms of our actual favorites, but yeah, it's just, I really love that one. When Lucy was first born, I sang that as a lullaby to her. It's just so pretty. So pretty.
Yeah, and I love the line, um and again the imagery that it evokes of angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
Gorgeous
so
imagery. Yeah.
beautiful. And I just love the idea of heaven like reaching down to earth in the
Yeah.
moment of the nativity. I just, I love it, I love
Oh,
it.
absolutely. I'm with you on that. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, really beautiful imagery.
What about your number 3?
My number three is God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen.
Okay, we
Which
got
I
there,
do
we
not
got
like.
there.
But I don't know. Like, I totally understand what you were saying about earlier about, you know, congregational singing and whatnot. However, I mean, I've always just loved this one because I think it's a really fun carol. To me, when I hear it, it evokes like almost like the sort of song you would want to sing in like a tavern with a bunch of people, like, you know, after like a couple rounds of beer or something like that, like really upbeat and whatnot. So one of my favorite recordings of all time with this one is with the Philadelphia Orchestra, and they have percussion going underneath, so it sounds like a horse going at the entire time, like a horse galloping, and it's really really cool. It's almost like, you know, like a messenger trying to like bring, you know, the message of Christmas to everyone. I think it's just really neat. Also, I heard a talk at Seek 2 years ago by Monsignor. Oh gosh, what's his name? He's at University of Mary, I think. Monsignor James Shea. There we go. He gave this amazing talk on basically on the fall of Adam and Eve and why we need salvation and whatnot. But he told it like, he framed it through basically this carol of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. And it was the coolest thing. You can hear the talk on YouTube, actually. We'll link it in the show notes. because it's a really, really good talk. Probably one of the best top 5 talks I've ever heard in my life, honestly. But that cemented the Carol in my top 5 favorites of all time forever. So
Okay. I mean, fair. I can't personally agree, but I understand where you're coming from. I
yeah.
also will say as well, I feel like the pentatonics version of God Rest You Merry Gentlemen is also chronically overplayed.
Yes. Okay. I really don't like that version. So I'm glad to hear that I'm not the only one.
Yeah. I feel like that may have contributed to my putting it on my least favorites list.
You should listen to the Philadelphia Orchestra. I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, I'll take a listen to it. Can't say that it'll necessarily change my answer, but I will listen. So, my number 3 is The Snow by Edward Elgar.
Oh, that's a beautiful one.
It is one of my personal favorites. We sang it a few times in one of my children's choirs as I was growing up. And it was always one of those that when we'd get our repertoire at the beginning of the year, we'd like open our music folder and it'd be there. And like me and all my friends would be like, yeah, we're doing The Snow. We just loved it. It's so beautiful. It is piano, 2 violins, and choir, treble choir as well. So all women or children, and it is just so incredibly beautiful. And it's not an expressly religious piece, like it's not, it wouldn't be liturgically appropriate,
Mhm.
but the words of the piece are actually so profound if you stop and think about them. It talks about the desire to cleanse your soul to be as white as, you know, freshly fallen winter snow. And it's kind of draws this comparison between the state of our souls and the winter landscape. And it's just really beautiful. And I remember it got me like, not only did I love singing it growing up, but it also got me thinking a lot about like the message of the piece and like, oh, what is the state of my soul as I'm preparing to welcome Christ at Christmas? And um, it was just, it, I think it will always be one of my favorite pieces, maybe ever. I just love that piece. It's gorgeous. Definitely recommend giving it a listen.
It's beautiful. I love that. So my number 2 is I Wander as I Wander. I just absolutely love this carol. It is such a different flavor than so many other carols. You know, it has a very wistful, almost melancholic feel to the tune. It's very thoughtful and introspective in many ways. It's an Appalachian carol, which is really neat. You don't often find one of those among, you know, the Christmas repertoire. And I find the lyrics are just so refreshing. The first stanza is like, you know, I wonder as I wander out under the sky, how Jesus our Savior did come for to die. For poor ornery people like you and like I wonder as I wander out under the sky. And I love the line, poor ornery people, you know, like, I just don't know. There's just something so charming about it and just so like, yeah, we are all kind of poor and ornery in our own ways, aren't we? You know, and it's just like, wow, Jesus really did come for us. You know, that's really neat.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah,
I love
it's a lovely piece. I remember that being like one of your all-time favorites.
it. It always
Um,
will be one of my all-time favorites. I think it's just wonderful.
yeah, yeah, it's a great piece, actually. I feel like more people should know it. I feel like it's not as popular as it should be.
Should be. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, what is your number 2?
So I'm actually going to change my number 2 answer. Originally on my list here, I have It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas.
Oh, such a good one.
Yeah, which is good. It's a fun one. But actually, I was introduced to a piece this year through my choir that I talk about every week when we get to what we're listening to. And I have just fallen totally in love with it. It's a really cool piece.
Oh,
It's called Rivers of Light,
okay.
and
Never heard
it
of it before.
yeah, it's choral. So it's, if you're maybe not in the choral world, maybe you wouldn't know it, but
Fair.
it's all about the Northern Lights, and it has these
Cool.
beautiful, very poetic descriptions of the Northern Lights. You know, and it's describing dragons racing across the sky and gossamer, you know, falling on the earth. And I had to look up what gossamer was when I was first got this piece, because I was like, what am I singing about here? And gossamer is like the it's not a spider web, but it's like the silk web that you see sometimes like on certain kinds of like bushes, usually in the mountains, I think. And
Yes. I know
do
what
you
you're
know?
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gossamer. So it has all this really interesting, very rich imagery to describe the wonders of the Northern Lights. And the harmonic language that the music actually uses is really cool and really beautiful. And I just feel like everything about the piece has a lot of intentionality behind it. And I have just really loved it. And I think it's going to become one of those that I'm going to go back to year after year around
I
this
love
time,
that.
just
I'm
because
gonna
it's
put on
so,
this.
yeah,
I'm really intrigued by this piece.
yeah, it's really cool. And there are a lot of interesting things happening. There are two solos in two different time signatures that overlap at times, that like run through entire sections of the piece. Um, and it's written to be played with jaw harp as well. If anybody is,
Oh, yes.
yeah, so like,
Talking about.
so yeah, as I was saying, Rivers of Light also is written with jaw harp as well, which is a super interesting instrument, super interesting sound produced by that instrument. The whole
Yes.
harmonic language, all of it, is just really, really interesting. So, yeah, that's going to be my number two, is Rivers of Light.
I
And
love that. I'm so excited to hear it.
I think Lucy agrees with me. Huh?
What do you think, Lucy? Should we listen to that? Should we listen to it?
She's
Yeah.
saying yes, for sure.
For all those listening, just audio only, Lucy is waving. Lucy is waving at everybody.
Hi, Lucy.
Yes, we say hello. That's right. Well, to round things off, my number one is Jesus Christ the Apple Tree, a choral.
Yes.
I adore this piece so much. I just think it's absolutely lovely. The lyrics are stunning. The harmonies are stunning. The melody is stunning. Everything about this piece is stunning. It's so theologically rich. I just absolutely adore this piece. I had the opportunity to sing it actually with my family a couple years ago at church, and it was just wonderful. So yeah, that's my number one. Lucy's getting fidgety, so that's all I'll say on that one.
Well, my number one is In the Bleak Midwinter. And
Oh,
actually,
stop! I love that one.
yeah, Jesus Christ the Apple Tree would have been up there for me as well. I just it didn't even cross my mind, to be honest, when I was making this list. But that is also
Yeah, because I think you
like,
actually introduced me to Jesus Christ the Apple Tree back in college.
yeah, I may have, because I feel like I tell everyone about that piece. I do love it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's amazing. Truly
it
amazing.
is it is such a fabulous piece. It's just beautiful. But yeah, for the purposes of my list right now, In the Bleak Midwinter is my number one. Similarly, a lot of theological depth, a lot of theological meaning, a lot of meaning in the words. Gorgeous piece. It is just a beautiful
So
piece of music.
gorgeous.
So gorgeous. All the melody itself is great, but then it's also quite easy to harmonize. So it's very easy to make it sound good, which we love for congregational singing. And it's just overall, it's just such a wonderful, beautiful piece. And I love the end as well. Kind of contrasting to Little Drummer Boy a little bit. The conclusion at the end of In the Bleak Midwinter is that you should give Jesus your heart as the ultimate gift, not a drum solo, but your heart. And I like that conclusion and that consensus a lot more. So
Yeah, now that's totally fair. That is totally fair. Which honestly, it is the most fitting gift of all, because that's really at the end of the day all Jesus really wants. So on that note, this has been very fun. Yeah, it's interesting to hear, like, the similarities and differences between our highs and lows, or not highs and lows. Oh my gosh, our best and worst Christmas songs that we enjoy and not enjoy. What do you think, Lucy? What's your favorite Christmas song?
Does she have a favorite Christmas song? Is there one that she really responds to?
She really likes "Oh Holy Night," which honestly, such a banger. And she really likes "Silent Night" as well. Those two are favorites of hers, I think. Right? You like "Old Holy Night" and "Silent Night," don't you?
She is a girl of good taste.
She is. She has great musical taste. She loves the piano. Although she also has a toy saxophone that she loves. And I'm not sure quite how I feel about that one. So
she has time to grow out of that, so don't worry.
Apologies to any saxophonists listening to this. But you also, you yourselves know the stereotypes around your instrument. So
there you go.
Hardly blame a young mother? No, you cannot.
Well, on that note, I feel like we should wrap it up for the day.
I think so too. And do we want to share pieces we're listening to, since we just went through all kinds of Christmas carols? Or
I think that's plenty of links for this show notes.
Yeah. So we'll spare y'all yet another link or two. And when this episode airs, we'll still be a couple weeks out from Christmas, but actually maybe more like just a week and a half out from Christmas, come to think of it, which is crazy. Christmas is coming crazy. But with all that being said, we wish you all a very blessed rest of your Advent, a very Merry Christmas, and we will see you again in the new year at some point. Stay tuned for when season 7, cannot believe that I'm saying that, but when season 7 will drop, it will be sometime this winter, spring. So
yeah, absolutely. Special thanks to our very special guest on today's episode, little Lucy Blackwell.
She did so good.
She's great. So in a few years, I'm sure she'll be on as an interviewee. So stay tuned for that, everybody. And yes, as Cecilia said, we wish you a very Merry Christmas, and we will talk to you in the new year. God bless.
God bless.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Little Sparks Podcast. For more information on this podcast and our ministry, please visit www.thehildegardcollective.com.